Welcome to Live a Supercharged Life, the podcast that ignites your energy and uplifts your spirit. This is your go-to space for navigating love, relationships, and personal growth. All right, so get ready because we're ditching the apps today.
Ditching the apps.
Yeah, no more swiping, no more algorithms. We're diving into the unexpected world of finding love offline.
Ooh, interesting. Offline dating, huh? Sounds like a concept from a bygone era.
Well, it might seem that way, but you'd be surprised how many people are turning away from the screens and finding love in the real world.
You know, you've piqued my curiosity. Why the shift? I thought apps were supposed to make finding the one easier.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We're all about instant gratification these days. But it seems like those curated profiles and endless swiping might be getting in the way of real connection.
Okay, I can see that. So what's driving this trend of ditching the apps? Is it just app fatigue, or is there something deeper at play?
Well, for starters, the numbers speak for themselves. Apps like Tinder, Hinge, Bumble, even Grindr, they're all seeing a significant drop in users.
Really? Do you have any idea what the specific numbers look like?
I do, actually. Tinder lost a whopping 600,000 users, and Hinge lost 131,000.
Wow, that's a pretty significant drop. It seems like people are craving something more, something beyond the superficiality of online dating.
Absolutely. We're diving deep today into an article called Where Couples Meet, Unexpected Places to Spark a Connection, and it's full of fascinating insights.
Where couples meet, unexpected places to spark a connection. Count me in. I'm all for unexpected romance.
It turns out that offline connections might actually lead to stronger, more stable relationships.
Really? Now that's surprising. I always thought apps were supposed to help you find a compatible partner more efficiently.
That's what we're led to believe, right?
Yeah.
But research suggests that app marriages are actually more likely to end in divorce, and often within just 3 years.
3 years? That's a pretty stark contrast to the idea of finding the one online. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, think about it. When you meet someone through friends or at a shared activity, you already have some common ground, a foundation for connection.
Right. And you build trust differently in person. It's more organic, more authentic. You see those quirks and imperfections that actually make someone interesting, not just a perfectly curated profile.
Exactly. And the article highlights some amazing stories of people who found love offline in the most unexpected ways. Like Eileen, who met her partner at a pottery class. Or Louisa, who fell for a fellow volunteer at a local animal shelter. And then there's Birdie, who sparked a connection with someone while browsing vinyl records at a flea market.
See, those are the kind of stories that warm my heart. Real people, real connections, no algorithms involved. So tell me, where are these unexpected places where love is hiding in plain sight?
But get this, cultural venues are apparently hot spots for romance. Museums, galleries, theaters, concert halls, they're all teeming with potential love connections.
Interesting. I never really thought of museums as particularly romantic, but I can see how the shared appreciation for art and culture could create a spark.
Imagine locking eyes with someone special while admiring a Monet at the National Gallery of Art. It's like it's something out of a movie.
Okay, now you're making it sound undeniably romantic. I'm starting to see the appeal. But what makes these cultural venues such fertile ground for love?
They're designed to evoke emotions, to spark conversation. They're filled with people who share similar interests, who are open to new experiences, who are looking to connect with something beautiful and meaningful.
So instead of swiping through profiles, we should be browsing museum exhibits.
Exactly. And there's this quote from the article that I just love. The best love stories are often written in the margins of museum catalogs and on the edges of theater programs.
That's beautiful and so true. It's like the art itself sets the stage for romance, creating a shared experience that can draw people together.
Precisely. It's not just about the art itself, it's about the atmosphere, the shared experience, the potential for connection that these venues offer.
Okay, you've officially convinced me. I'm adding cultural venues to my list of potential love-finding spots. But let's be honest, not all of us are art aficionados. Are there other unexpected places where love might be lurking?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where things get really interesting. Get ready to have your mind blown because we're going to delve into the world of serendipitous encounters.
Serendipitous encounters. Ooh, I like the sound of that already. Tell me more.
You know those chance meetings that feel like they were written in the stars? Those moments when you lock eyes with a stranger and feel an instant connection. Or when you bump into someone you barely know and find yourself drawn to them in a way you can't quite explain.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. I've always been a firm believer in the power of serendipity. It's like the universe conspiring to bring two souls together.
Exactly. And it turns out that 60% of Americans believe in finding love by chance. So it's not just a romantic notion, it's a deeply ingrained belief.
Wow, 60%. That's incredible. It seems like a lot of people are putting their faith in fate.
They are. But it's not just about passively waiting for fate to intervene. It's about putting yourself out there, being open to the world around you, and being ready to seize those serendipitous moments when they arise.
So how do we make the most of these serendipitous encounters? How do we turn a chance meeting into a meaningful connection?
It all starts with mastering the art of reading social cues.
Reading social cues. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
You see, 79% of college students would rather meet someone in person than through an app. So those cues are out there, you just have to learn to decipher them.
Okay, so ditch the dating profiles and start studying body language textbooks.
Not quite, although a little knowledge never hurts. It's more about paying attention, being present in the moment, and noticing those subtle signals that someone might be open to interaction.
So it's like a secret language, but instead of words, it's all about body language, eye contact, and those unspoken vibes.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to take a chance. You know, a simple smile or a friendly hello can go a long way, especially considering that 80% of people say they're tired of online dating.
Wow, 80%. So making a move in person could really set you apart from the crowd.
Absolutely. It's about breaking free from the digital bubble and embracing those real-life connections that make life so much richer and more meaningful.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. It's refreshing to think that love can blossom in the most unexpected places without the pressure of algorithms and perfectly curated profiles.
It is, isn't it? And you know, it's not just about finding a romantic partner. It's about embracing human connection in all its forms.
Absolutely. It's about those moments of shared humanity that make life so much more vibrant and fulfilling. And those moments can happen anywhere, anytime, if we're open to them.
Precisely. So let's ditch the apps and rediscover the magic of finding love offline. Who knows what adventures await?
Yeah, it's like you're speaking a whole different language.
The language of love.
Right. Except it's not spoken, it's all about those subtle cues.
Those little hints and gestures that say, hey, I'm interested.
Exactly. And it's amazing how many people are missing out on those cues because they're so glued to their phones.
So true. We're so caught up in the digital world that we're forgetting how to connect in real life.
And that's where the magic of serendipity comes in. It's about being present, being aware of your surroundings, and being open to the possibility of connection.
Okay, I'm starting to see the light. But let's get practical. How do we actually make the most of these serendipitous encounters?
Well, first of all, ditch the idea that you need a perfectly crafted pickup line or some grand gesture.
So no more cheesy one-liners.
Unless you're going for laughs. But seriously, it's about being genuine, being yourself, and letting your personality shine through.
Okay, that sounds much less intimidating. So what kind of approach should we take?
It's really about paying attention to those social cues we were talking about. Is the person making eye contact? Are they smiling? Do they seem open to interaction?
And if the answer is yes, then what? Do we just march right up to them and start a conversation?
Not necessarily march, but definitely approach with confidence and a friendly demeanor. You'd be surprised how many people are actually receptive to a simple hello or a casual comment.
You know, you're right. I think we tend to overthink these things, especially in the age of dating apps where everything is so calculated and strategic.
Exactly. But when you're out in the real world, it's much more about spontaneity and authenticity. Just be yourself, be approachable, and let the conversation flow naturally.
But what about that initial spark? Isn't that important for a connection to take off?
Ah, the elusive spark. We all crave it, don't we? But what if I told you that the spark isn't always instant? Sometimes it's a slow burn, a gradual build of connection that can be even more powerful than a sudden burst of chemistry.
Okay, I'm listening. I've heard about slow burn relationships, but they always seemed a little too, well, slow for me. I'm more of a love at first sight kind of person.
I get it. The instant gratification is tempting. But think about it this way. Have you ever met someone and thought, not my type, only to find yourself completely smitten a few weeks later?
You know what? You're right. It's like those friendships that turn into something more. You never saw it coming, but suddenly, bam, there it is.
Exactly. And research actually shows that many happy couples didn't experience that initial spark. Their feelings developed gradually over time, built on shared experiences, deep conversations, and a genuine appreciation for who the other person is.
So maybe those whirlwind romances we see in movies aren't the most realistic model for lasting love.
Perhaps not. Slow burn relationships are like fine wine, they get better with age. They're built on a solid foundation of trust and intimacy, not fleeting moments of passion.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. But where do these slow burn romances tend to blossom? Is there a secret garden somewhere?
You might be surprised to learn that they can blossom anywhere, but our source highlights some everyday locations that are particularly conducive to these kinds of connections. Places where you can relax, be yourself, and let those sparks simmer.
Okay, you've got my attention. Spill the beans. Where are these unassuming havens for slow burn romance?
Well, let's start with the classic coffee shop. It's a casual, comfortable setting where you can easily strike up a conversation, maybe over a shared love of lattes or a fascinating book someone's reading.
I've always loved the vibe of coffee shops, but I never thought of them as romantic hotspots. It's like a whole new world has opened up to me.
Right. And think about it. You're already surrounded by people who enjoy a little caffeine boost, who appreciate a good book or a cozy atmosphere. It's a natural breeding ground for connection.
Okay, I'm sold on coffee shops. What else? Where else can we find these simmering sparks?
Believe it or not, the grocery store can be surprisingly romantic. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out.
The grocery store. Romantic.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to see the connection.
You're both there for a purpose, you're surrounded by everyday items that can spark conversation, and there's a certain level of shared humanity in the act of picking out groceries.
Okay, I never thought I'd hear the words grocery store and romantic in the same sentence, but you're actually making sense. It's like a real-life meet cute waiting to happen.
Exactly. You could ask for help reaching something on a high shelf, or maybe strike up a conversation about the best organic produce. Who knows, that conversation about tomatoes could turn into a dinner date.
Okay, I'm officially adding flirt at the grocery store to my to-do list.
Yeah.
What other everyday adventures await?
Well, let's not forget about local parks and gardens. These are wonderful places to connect with nature and with other people who appreciate the outdoors.
Parks and gardens, that's a classic. But I usually just have my headphones in, lost in my own world.
Try taking those headphones out for a while and engaging with your surroundings. You could strike up a conversation about a beautiful flower, offer to share your picnic blanket, or simply exchange smiles with someone while enjoying the sunshine.
I can just picture it now. Strolling through a park, dappled sunlight, birds singing, like a scene from a romantic movie.
And you're telling me I don't even need a script? Nope, no script required.
Yeah.
Just an open heart and a willingness to embrace those unexpected moments of connection. And speaking of unexpected, let's not forget about pubs.
Pubs? Really?
Huh?
I always thought of pubs as more of a place to hang out with friends, not necessarily meet someone special.
But that's the beauty of it. Pubs often have a warm, inviting atmosphere that encourages conversation. Plus, there's often live music or trivia nights that can break the ice and bring people together.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal. You could bond over a shared love of craft beer, debate the merits of IPAs versus stouts, or even team up for trivia night and conquer the world one pub quiz at a time.
Exactly. It's all about creating those shared experiences and finding common ground. And sometimes those common grounds are found over a pint of beer and a plate of nachos.
This is all so fascinating. It's like you've given me a whole new lens through which to view the world. But we've been talking a lot about chance encounters and slow burns. But what about those of us who are actively seeking a partner? Are we just supposed to wander aimlessly through coffee shops and grocery stores, hoping to bump into our soulmate?
That's a great question, and it brings us to another fascinating aspect of finding love offline: intentional settings. These are places where you can go with the specific goal of meeting like-minded people who are also open to romantic connections.
Okay, now you're talking. Tell me more about these intentional settings. Where should I be heading?
Well, let's start with a place that's near and dear to my heart: educational settings. Think about it. College campuses, adult education classes, workshops, seminars. These environments bring together people who are intellectually curious, eager to learn, and open to new experiences.
So I could potentially find love while expanding my mind. It's like a 2-for-1 deal.
Exactly. And the source specifically calls out cooking classes and language courses as being particularly ripe for romance. Imagine mastering the art of French cuisine alongside someone special, or stumbling through verb conjugations together with a twinkle in your eye.
Okay, I'm officially signing up for a cooking class. It's way more appealing than scrolling through dating profiles.
And don't underestimate the allure of adult education programs like art classes, photography workshops, or personal growth seminars. These settings provide a relaxed, informal atmosphere where people can connect over shared interests and personal growth journeys.
There's a quote from the source that really resonates with me. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. It's not just about acquiring knowledge, it's about igniting a passion for life. And that passion can definitely extend to our relationships as well.
Absolutely. It's about connecting with something that sets your soul on fire, and that fire can definitely spark a romantic connection.
You know, I've always thought of education as a purely intellectual pursuit, but
Yeah.
you're making me rethink that. It's about so much more than just knowledge. It's about connection, growth, and yes, even romance.
Exactly. And speaking of passion, let's move on to another category that's near and dear to my heart: active lifestyle and recreational spots. If you're someone who loves to move your body, get your heart pumping, and embrace adventure, then these spots are for you. And they're also fantastic places to meet like-minded individuals who share your passion for an active lifestyle.
Okay, I'm all ears. I have a feeling this one's going to be fun. Where should our listeners be looking?
Well, for starters, there are sports leagues and team activities. Think basketball, volleyball, softball, soccer, kickball, anything that gets you moving and interacting with others in a fun, competitive environment.
I love it. It's like the perfect combination of fitness and flirtation. Sign me up.
Exactly. And then there are fitness classes and wellness centers. Yoga, Pilates, spin, dance, Zumba. These classes offer a fantastic opportunity to connect with people who are prioritizing their physical and mental well-being.
Plus, there's something about those endorphins that makes everyone a little bit more attractive, right?
Perhaps. And let's not forget about outdoor adventure groups. If you're a nature enthusiast, a thrill seeker, or simply someone who loves to breathe fresh air and explore new horizons, then this is the category for you. Hiking, kayaking, rock climbing, camping, backpacking. These adventures create a natural bond and a shared sense of accomplishment.
I'm picturing those epic mountaintop views and sunset kayaking trips. Talk about romantic. Adventure and love rolled into one.
It's true. And the source even quotes a couple, Kurt and Stephanie Saxma, who found love through an outdoor recreation group. They said it was a game changer for their relationship, helping them connect on a deeper level and build a strong sense of community.
That's such a beautiful testament to the power of shared experiences. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. Cultural venues, educational settings, active lifestyle spots. But there's one more category that I'm really excited to explore: social and community events. These are the events that bring people together, celebrate local culture, and create a sense of belonging, right?
Absolutely. These events are the heart and soul of any vibrant community, bringing together people from all walks of life to celebrate, connect, and contribute to something larger than themselves. It's like a giant mixing bowl of possibilities, and you never know who you might meet.
It's like a melting pot of possibilities. And the source mentioned some really specific examples that sound amazing. Tell me more. What kind of events should we be on the lookout for?
Well, there are annual festivals, like the DeKalb Corn Fest, which attracts over 100,000 visitors each year. Imagine strolling through the festival grounds, sampling delicious food, enjoying live music, and maybe bumping into someone special amidst the crowd.
That sounds like a perfect summer day. What else?
There are community galas and silent auctions where you can mingle with fellow do-gooders while supporting local charities and organizations.
So you can do good and meet someone good. I love it. What a winning combination.
And let's not forget about community-based charity marathons or car washes. These events are a fantastic way to sweat, socialize, and make a difference all at the same time. You'll be bonding over shared values and a common goal. And who knows, maybe sparks will fly while you're scrubbing cars or crossing the finish line.
These are such great examples. It's amazing how many opportunities for connection are woven into the fabric of our communities. I'm feeling so inspired to get out there and explore.
That's the spirit. And the source quotes Jane Doe, a community engagement specialist who perfectly captures the essence of these events. Community is where the heart is. These events bring people together in the most organic, uplifting way.
I couldn't agree more. There's something so heartwarming about coming together with your neighbors, celebrating your shared identity, and maybe finding love along the way. Okay, we've explored a lot of different places where you can find love offline, but let's shift gears a bit and revisit that concept of the slow burn. We touched on it earlier, but I think it deserves a little more attention, especially in the context of these intentional settings.
I agree. The slow burn is often overlooked in our fast-paced world, but it's a powerful approach to building lasting, fulfilling relationships, especially when you're intentionally putting yourself out there to meet new people. So let's remind our listeners what exactly the slow burn is and why it can be so magical.
Yes, please. I'm ready to become a slow burn convert.
Well, the slow burn is all about allowing connections to develop gradually over time, without the pressure of instant chemistry or whirlwind romance. It's about savoring the process of getting to know someone, building trust and intimacy slowly and deliberately.
It's like the difference between fast food and a gourmet meal. One is quick and easy, the other is slow cooked and full of flavor.
What a perfect analogy. And just like a gourmet meal, the slow burn requires patience, attention to detail, and a willingness to savor each moment.
So what advice would you give to someone who's interested in embracing the slow burn approach? How can they cultivate that kind of connection in these intentional settings?
The key is to shift your focus from the outcome to the process. Don't get caught up in the pressure of finding the one right away. Instead, simply focus on enjoying the company of the people you meet, being present in each interaction, and allowing connections to unfold organically.
That sounds like a much more relaxed and enjoyable way to approach dating. No more swiping fatigue or awkward first dates.
Exactly, and it's often in those unexpected moments, those casual conversations and shared experiences, that the deepest connections are formed.
So it's about being open to possibility, but also being patient and allowing things to unfold at their own pace. No more rushing into things or forcing connections that aren't meant to be.
Absolutely. And remember, not every connection will turn into a romantic relationship, and that's perfectly okay. Sometimes it's a friendship, sometimes it's a fleeting moment of connection, but those moments can still enrich our lives and teach us valuable lessons about ourselves and others.
I love that perspective. It's about appreciating the journey, not just the destination. And speaking of journeys, our source mentions another category of unexpected meeting places that I think is particularly intriguing: travel and transportation hubs.
Ah, yes. These places are often overlooked as potential hotspots for romance, but they can be incredibly exciting and full of possibility. Think about it. Airports, train stations, bustling bus stops. These are places where people are constantly coming and going, stepping outside their comfort zones and open to new experiences.
Okay, I'm picturing airports, train stations, bustling bus stops, places where people are constantly coming and going. How on earth do romantic connections blossom in those chaotic environments?
You might be surprised. These places often have a unique energy, a sense of anticipation and possibility. People are open to new experiences, they're stepping outside their comfort zones, and they're often in a more relaxed and receptive state of mind.
So it's like the perfect breeding ground for serendipitous encounters.
Exactly. And the source specifically mentions airports and train stations as hotspots for romance. Imagine sharing a knowing glance with someone across the crowded terminal, or striking up a conversation with a fellow traveler on a delayed flight.
It's like those classic movie scenes where two strangers meet at a train station and their lives are forever changed.
It's true, and there's something about the transient nature of these environments that can make connections feel even more magical. You might only have a few fleeting moments together, but those moments can be incredibly intense and memorable.
It's like a microcosm of life itself, those brief but meaningful encounters that weave the tapestry of our human experience.
Beautifully said. And as our transportation systems evolve, these hubs are becoming even more conducive to connection. The source mentions projects like eHUD-BS in Europe, which are transforming transportation hubs into vibrant, people-centered spaces that encourage interaction and community.
So it's not just about getting from point A to point B anymore. It's about creating spaces where people can connect and maybe even find love along the way.
Exactly. And these hubs are popping up everywhere, from bustling city centers to quaint rural towns. So the next time you're waiting for a train or boarding a plane, keep your eyes open and your heart receptive. You never know who you might meet.
This is all so inspiring. It's like a reminder that love is truly everywhere, even in the most unexpected places. We've explored so many amazing places today, from cultural venues and educational settings to active lifestyle spots, community events, and even transportation hubs. But now I want to bring things back down to earth, back to those everyday settings that we talked about earlier. The coffee shops, grocery stores, parks, and pubs that are woven into the fabric of our daily lives.
Ah, yes. These places are like hidden gems, offering countless opportunities for connection if we just open our eyes and our hearts to the possibilities. They're the places we frequent regularly, where we feel comfortable and at ease, and sometimes that's all it takes for love to blossom.
So let's remind our listeners why these seemingly mundane settings are actually such fertile ground for romance. What makes them so special?
Well, for starters, they're familiar and comfortable. We frequent these places regularly, we have our routines, and we often feel a sense of belonging within those spaces.
It's like our own little neighborhood ecosystems, where we can relax, be ourselves, and connect with others who share our daily rhythms.
Exactly, and that familiarity can create a sense of ease and openness, making it easier to strike up conversations and forge connections.
It's like the difference between meeting someone at a formal event versus bumping into them at your favorite coffee shop. The latter just feels more natural and authentic.
Absolutely. And these everyday settings also provide a wealth of conversation starters. You can talk about the delicious latte you're enjoying, the beautiful flowers you spotted at the park, or the latest craft beer on tap at the pub.
It's all about finding those little moments of shared interest and sparking a conversation from there.
Exactly. And who knows, that conversation about coffee beans could lead to a first date. That shared appreciation for nature could blossom into a romantic walk in the park, and that casual chat at the pub could turn into a lifelong connection.
It's amazing how much potential for romance is hidden in plain sight. Sometimes, the most extraordinary connections are found in the most ordinary of places.
It is. And it's a reminder that love doesn't always announce itself with grand gestures or fairy tale moments. Sometimes it's a gentle whisper, a subtle spark that ignites in the most unassuming corners of our world.
So what's the key takeaway here? What do we want our listeners to remember about finding love in these everyday settings?
I think the most important thing is to be present, to be open to the possibilities, and to approach every interaction with a sense of curiosity and kindness. You never know what adventures await when you open yourself up to the world around you.
I love that. It's about shifting our focus from the destination to the journey, embracing the unexpected detours, and enjoying the ride.
Beautifully said. And who knows, maybe one of those detours will lead you to the love of your life.
You know, it's funny how we always think of love as this big dramatic thing.
Yeah, like it's gotta hit you like a bolt of lightning.
Right. But really, it's often the small moments, the subtle connections that weave the tapestry of our lives.
Those everyday interactions that spark something special, something unexpected.
And those sparks can ignite anywhere, not just in those picture-perfect romantic settings.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. We spend so much time rushing through our days, heads down, glued to our phones.
Yet we're missing out on those little moments of connection that make life so much richer.
Exactly. So maybe the key to finding love is to slow down, be present, and open ourselves up to the possibilities that surround us.
I love that. It's about shifting our focus from the destination to the journey.
And trusting that the right connections will find their way into our lives, often when we least expect it.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from this conversation?
That's a tough one. There are so many nuggets of wisdom we've uncovered today. But if I had to choose just one, it would be to embrace the unexpected.
Embrace the unexpected.
Yeah, love doesn't always arrive in a perfectly packaged box with a big red bow. Sometimes it shows up in disguise in the most ordinary of places.
I like that. It's about letting go of our preconceived notions of what love should look like and where we should find it.
Exactly. And remember, it's not just about romantic love. It's about cultivating meaningful connections with the people around us, whether it's a potential partner, a new friend, or even a friendly stranger at the coffee shop.
That's so true. Those connections, big and small, are what make life so much more vibrant and fulfilling.
They really are. And, if you're looking for more insights on love, relationships, and living a more connected life, I highly recommend checking out the Love Supercharged Life website and YouTube channel.
Yes, absolutely. Those resources are a treasure trove of information and inspiration for anyone who's looking to create more meaningful relationships.
So ditch the apps, step away from the screens, and embrace the adventure of finding love in the real world. Who knows what magic awaits?
Well said. That's all for today's deep dive into finding love offline. Until next time, keep those hearts open and those minds curious. So if you're looking for some amazing tips, some resources, some help with relationships, head over to liveasuperchargedlife.com. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.